All right, so we're diving into this Cybersecurity HQ report, all about Thoma Bravo's cybersecurity empire.
Yeah.
You're deep in the cybersecurity world, so we're going to go pretty deep here.
Yeah.
We're going to dissect their strategy,
Okay.
their acquisitions, what it all means for the industry,
Yeah.
talk technical details, market shifts, the whole 9 yards.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to be pulling in some historical context as well.
Right. Right. Well, it's pretty fascinating how strategically they've built this.
Yeah.
It's not just acquiring companies. You
Yeah.
know, it's about
Sure.
understanding this landscape and placing the right pieces, I guess, on the board.
So they're playing chess, not checkers.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And their journey actually starts way back in 1980
Okay.
with a company called Golder, Thoma & Co.,
Uh-huh.
founded by Stanley Golder and Carl Thoma.
Okay.
And they pioneered this buy and build strategy.
So this consolidation playbook isn't new for them.
Not at all. But things took a real turn, I think, in 1998, when Carl Thoma partnered with Orlando Bravo,
Right.
who had this vision, saw the immense potential of software. And fast forward to 2008, the firm becomes Thoma Bravo.
Yeah,
And their focus shifts, laser focus, to software and technology investments.
Uh-huh.
And this is where their cybersecurity empire really begins to take shape, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
This is when Orlando Bravo kind of earns the nickname of the software king of private equity. Right.
That's it. Yeah.
But what I find particularly interesting is their cybersecurity investment strategy.
Yeah.
They're not, just throwing money at every shiny new startup that comes along. It's very targeted.
Yeah.
They're going after companies that have robust technologies, strong market positions.
Yeah, think of it like they're acquiring the cornerstones of the cybersecurity industry.
Mm-hmm.
Companies that offer those essential infrastructure solutions. So identity and access management, threat detection, data protection, secure communications.
Got it.
All of those foundational elements of a robust security posture. And Thoma Bravo is very carefully, very meticulously building a portfolio to address these critical needs.
So they're not just building an investment portfolio, they're really building like a fortress, right? Layer by layer.
Precisely. Yeah, and to understand how they're constructing this fortress, we really need to take a close look at their key acquisitions.
Yeah.
And we can start with Entrust back in 2009,
Okay.
company specializing in identity-based security solutions.
Okay.
And then came SonicWall in 2010, which was focused on network security and data protection, which, they later sold to Dell in 2012.
And from there, it seems like they just went on this cybersecurity shopping spree. But it wasn't random. They were picking up companies that fit specific goals, right?
Absolutely. I mean, look at Ping Identity, for example.
Yeah.
They acquired them in 2016,
Wow.
took them public in 2019, brought them back in 2022
Yeah.
for $2.8 billion.
Wow.
Ping is a major player in intelligent identity solutions for enterprises, a very, very critical piece of the cybersecurity infrastructure puzzle.
Yeah, and that move to take them private again, that's a pretty strong signal about how much they value control over these assets.
Right.
And let's not forget Illumio, a company specializing in zero trust segmentation.
Yeah.
They made a strategic investment of $225 million in 2021,
Right.
valuing the company at $2.75 billion.
Yes.
Now, Illumio is particularly interesting to me because of their approach to zero trust.
Yeah.
Can you break down kind of their zero trust segmentation and how it fits into Thoma Bravo's big picture?
Sure. So Illumio helps organizations kind of assume that breaches are inevitable.
Right.
And really focus on minimizing impact.
Right.
And they do this by essentially creating microperimeters around workloads and applications and controlling communication between them. So it's a really proactive approach to security, preventing lateral movement within a network.
So even if an attacker gets in, they hit a wall.
Yeah.
Thanks to Illumio segmentation.
Exactly.
Very clever.
Yeah, and strategically, it aligns perfectly with Thoma Bravo's focus on building these comprehensive security platforms. Illumio adds that critical layer of protection that complements their other acquisitions in areas like identity management and threat detection.
It's like they're assembling this elite cybersecurity squad.
Yeah.
Each member with a very specific specialization.
Right.
but they're all working together to create this almost impenetrable defense.
It's a great analogy.
Yep.
Now, another fascinating acquisition, I think, was Exabeam back in 2021, which is, a security information and event management company that uses machine learning to identify threats.
Their approach is all about analyzing user and entity behavior, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us a little more technical insight into how that actually works?
Yeah, so they use machine learning models to establish baselines of normal behavior for users and systems,
Oh.
and then any deviation from those baselines triggers an alert.
Got it.
And it's incredibly effective at detecting insider threats, account compromises,
Uh-huh.
and even sophisticated attacks that are really trying to mimic legitimate activity.
So they're using AI to catch the bad guys who are trying to blend in.
Yes.
But what about the AI itself?
Right.
What kind of machine learning models are we talking about?
Cool.
Are we talking deep learning, supervised learning, unsupervised learning?
It's a combination of techniques. They use supervised learning to train models on known good and bad behavior.
Okay.
But they also leverage unsupervised learning to identify those anomalies that might not fit known patterns.
I see.
So it allows them to detect zero-day attacks and other threats that might slip past more traditional rule-based systems.
Right. So it's a constantly evolving game.
Yeah.
And so that adaptability is really critical. But isn't there a risk with these AI-driven solutions?
Sure.
What about false positives? How do they ensure accuracy and minimize that alert fatigue for security teams?
That's a great question. And it's a challenge for any AI-based security solution, really.
Sure.
But Exabeam addresses this through a combination of sophisticated algorithms and human expertise.
Okay.
So their models are constantly being refined and tuned
Right.
based on new data and feedback from security analysts.
Okay, so it's not just about throwing AI at the problem. It's about having the right expertise to manage it and interpret those results.
Precise.
Really?
And let's not forget their acquisition of Darktrace,
Right.
a move that really shook the cybersecurity world back in October of 2024.
Yeah.
This $5.3 billion all-cash deal was, I think, a very, very clear signal of their commitment to AI-driven security solutions.
Now, Darktrace is known for its autonomous response capabilities, right?
Yes.
That seems like a pretty significant step beyond just threat detection.
Absolutely. So Darktrace's AI engine is designed to not only detect threats,
Uh-huh.
but also take those autonomous actions to contain them.
Wow.
So, that could be isolating an infected device, blocking malicious traffic,
Okay.
even rolling back systems to a previous state.
That's a bold approach.
Yeah.
But it also raises some concerns, right?
Sure.
What if the AI makes the wrong decision? Could it
Mhm.
accidentally take down, critical systems?
Well, there's always a level of risk with any autonomous system.
Yeah.
And Darktrace has faced their share of criticism regarding, potential false positives and those unintended consequences.
Well-
But they've implemented safeguards to minimize those risks, including human oversight and the ability to override those autonomous actions.
Okay, so it's a delicate balance
Yeah.
between speed and accuracy, and the stakes are incredibly high in the world of cybersecurity.
Right.
But the fact that they're investing so heavily in this technology kind of suggests they believe the benefits outweigh the risks.
Yeah, it's a calculated gamble, but
Yeah.
one that could pay off significantly if those autonomous systems can really effectively counter these increasingly sophisticated and rapid attacks that we're seeing today.
And it's not just about, AI and automation. They've acquired companies across the whole spectrum of cybersecurity.
That's right.
From, application security with Veracode to email and cloud security with Proofpoint.
It's about building that comprehensive ecosystem
Right.
where each piece really strengthens the whole.
So they've amassed this incredible arsenal of cybersecurity companies, each with its own unique strengths and technologies.
Yeah.
But what does it all actually mean?
Yeah.
How are these acquisitions impacting the industry as a whole?
That's where things get really interesting. One of the biggest impacts, I think, is the consolidation that we're seeing across the sector.
Right.
Thoma Bravo is they're almost orchestrating a convergence of technology,
Yeah.
leading to these massive integrated security platforms.
So instead of organizations having to piece together solutions from, a dozen different vendors,
Yeah.
they can turn to, one of these Thoma Bravo backed platforms and basically get everything they need in one place.
That's the idea. It's a one-stop shop for cybersecurity. It's offering this, really streamlined approach to managing security posture.
Hmm.
But this consolidation also has a ripple effect on the entire market.
How so?
Yeah.
What does it mean for the companies that aren't part of the Thoma Bravo empire?
It creates this immense pressure to innovate
Yeah.
and to really expand their offerings. These smaller players, they can't afford to lag behind when Thoma Bravo's out there building these, cybersecurity behemoths.
Right.
They're setting the pace for the entire industry in a lot of ways.
So it's like a high stakes arms race where everyone has to, keep pushing the boundaries just to stay in the game.
Exactly. And that's not all. Their success has also sparked this massive influx of private equity interest in the sector.
Right.
Other firms are seeing the potential returns and are, very eager to get a piece of the pie.
So it's like they've opened the floodgates for cybersecurity investment.
Right.
But is that necessarily a good thing? I mean, we talked about some of the potential downsides of consolidation.
Right.
Could this, concentration of power stifle competition and innovation in the long run?
That's a very valid concern, and it's a debate that's happening right now within the industry.
Yeah.
Some argue that too much consolidation could lead to a lack of diversity in solutions.
Right.
And potentially create these vulnerabilities that attackers could exploit.
It's a classic trade-off, right? It's efficiency versus resilience.
Right.
A more consolidated market might be more efficient in the short term,
Right.
but could also become more fragile
Yeah.
if those dominant players, miss something.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that Thoma Bravo isn't just, acquiring these companies and letting them stagnate.
Right.
They are actively investing in research and development, pushing these companies to innovate and create cutting-edge solutions.
Well, and we've seen that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
with companies like Illumio and Exabeam, they're not just maintaining the status quo.
Right.
They're developing new technologies, new approaches to security.
Right.
But how do they ensure that these acquired companies maintain their edge?
Right.
I mean, being absorbed into a larger entity, it could potentially stifle, that creativity and agility.
That's where Thoma Bravo's, operational expertise comes in.
Okay.
They have a proven track record of integrating companies while preserving their unique strengths. They provide resources, guidance, and strategic direction,
Yeah.
but they also allow these companies to operate with a degree of autonomy.
So it's not a top-down command and control approach.
No.
They're empowering these companies to innovate while providing the support that they need.
Exactly. And they're also, laser focused on financial performance.
Yeah.
Let's look at some examples. Take Proofpoint, a leader in email and cloud security.
Yeah.
After being acquired, they continued to expand their customer base and enhance their offerings, and that led to significant revenue growth.
So they're not just buying companies, they're making them more successful.
That's right.
It's a pretty compelling strategy, from a purely financial perspective.
Yeah.
But what about the market position of these companies? Have they managed to, maintain or even improve their standing, after being acquired?
In many cases, yes. SailPoint is a great example. A leader in identity and access management. They were already a dominant player, but with Thoma Bravo's backing, they were able to further solidify their position.
It's almost like they're creating this self-fulfilling prophecy, right?
Yeah.
They acquire companies that are already leaders.
Right.
And then they provide the resources and support to make them even stronger.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some of the challenges that they're facing. I mean, the cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
What are some of the obstacles they need to overcome to maintain this level of dominance?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is, of course, the evolving threat landscape.
Right.
Attackers are constantly developing new techniques, leveraging technologies like AI and machine learning to launch increasingly sophisticated attacks.
It's a never-ending arms race, isn't it?
Exactly. And that means Thoma Bravo needs to ensure that their portfolio companies are not only equipped to handle today's threats,
Right.
but also prepared for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
So it's not enough to be reactive. They need to be proactive,
Right.
anticipating future threats,
Right.
and investing in the technologies and the expertise that'll be needed to counter them.
Precisely. And And another challenge is regulatory compliance.
Sure.
The cybersecurity landscape is becoming increasingly regulated.
Right.
New laws and standards are emerging all the time.
Yeah.
Thoma Bravo needs to navigate this very complex regulatory environment and ensure that their companies are compliant with all the relevant regulations, especially when it comes to data privacy.
That's a critical point.
Yeah.
Failing to comply with those regulations could result in, massive fines and reputational damage.
Absolutely. And then there's the constant pressure of market competition.
Right.
The cybersecurity market is incredibly crowded.
Yeah.
New startups are emerging all the time.
So they need to be strategic in their acquisitions.
Yeah.
But they also need to be adaptable, willing to adjust their strategy as the market changes and new threats emerge.
Exactly. And I think that's one of their strengths. They've shown this willingness to adapt and evolve their approach.
Yeah.
For example, their recent investments in AI and autonomous security solutions demonstrate that they're recognizing the need for these, more proactive and automated defenses.
So it's not just about acquiring companies. It's about acquiring the right companies at the right time and then providing that support and guidance they need to really thrive in this rapidly changing landscape.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
But challenges also create opportunities. What do you think are some of the opportunities that Thoma Bravo is really well positioned to capitalize on in the future?
Well, I think for starters, the demand for cybersecurity solutions is only going to continue to grow.
Right.
As organizations become more reliant on technology and digital transformation accelerates, the need for, really robust security measures will just, increase exponentially.
It's a simple equation, more technology equals more risk equals more demand for security solutions.
Right.
And Thoma Bravo has already established themselves as a major player in this market.
Exactly. And they're also well positioned to take advantage of the advancements in AI and machine learning.
Right.
We've seen how they're already investing in companies that are using those technologies to enhance threat detection and response.
And as those technologies continue to evolve, they'll open up even more possibilities for innovation in cybersecurity. And Thoma Bravo is in a prime position to really lead the charge in this area.
And let's not forget about cloud security.
Yeah.
Right. As more and more organizations move their operations to the cloud, the attack surface expands, creating new vulnerabilities and challenges.
Right.
Thoma Bravo's investments in companies like Imperva and Apomni demonstrate their focus on, addressing those cloud-specific security needs.
It's a very smart move and one that's likely to pay off as cloud adoption continues to just skyrocket.
Right.
But it's not just about riding the wave of, existing trends. Thoma Bravo is actively shaping the future of cybersecurity. They're not just acquiring companies, they're creating an ecosystem.
Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by creating an ecosystem?
Well, they're fostering collaboration among their portfolio companies. They're encouraging them to share knowledge, resources, technologies.
Okay.
And this cross-pollination of ideas and expertise can lead to the development of these, really integrated and comprehensive security solutions.
So they're not just building a collection of individual companies, they're building a network.
Right.
A community of cybersecurity experts working together.
Right.
To create this stronger collective defense.
Exactly. And that's a very powerful concept. It's about moving beyond that traditional siloed approach to security and really creating this more holistic and collaborative ecosystem.
And that's where their global expansion strategy comes into play, right?
Right.
They're not just focused on, the US market. They're expanding their reach into Europe, Asia, other regions.
Cybersecurity is a global issue, and they're building this global presence to address it.
It's a smart move. It allows them to, tap into new markets, but it also gives them a much broader perspective on, on the threat landscape, which is essential for developing these effective security solutions.
Right.
So what are some specific examples of how they're fostering this collaboration, this knowledge sharing within their portfolio companies? How does it work in practice?
Well, they encourage their companies to work together on joint projects, share best practices, leverage each other's technologies.
So it's not just about, financial investment. It's about strategic partnerships, knowledge transfer.
Exactly. And they also facilitate communication and collaboration through, events, workshops, online platforms.
It's like they're creating a cybersecurity think tank.
Yeah.
Bringing together, some of the brightest minds in the industry to really solve these tough challenges.
It's a very powerful model and one that's likely to drive significant innovation in the years to come.
But as they continue to grow and consolidate their power, what are some of the potential concerns that we should be aware of?
Well, one concern is that this level of consolidation could create a single point of failure.
Okay.
If a vulnerability is discovered in a technology that's used by multiple Thoma Bravo-backed companies,
Right.
it could have this, this cascading effect across the entire ecosystem.
That's a sobering thought. It's like putting all your eggs in one basket, even if it's, a very large and well-guarded basket.
Yeah.
What are some other potential, downsides that we should be considering?
Another concern is that, this consolidation could limit customer choice and potentially lead to higher prices.
Right.
If a few companies control a large portion of the market,
Right.
they have less incentive to compete on price or to offer specialized solutions for niche markets.
So there's a risk that the market could become less diverse and less responsive to the specific needs of individual customers.
Right.
It's a trade-off, as we've discussed,
right,
between efficiency and choice.
Exactly. And it's something that regulators will need to keep a close eye on as Thoma Bravo continues to expand its influence in the cybersecurity market.
Sure.
But despite these potential downsides, it's very clear that Thoma Bravo is playing a significant role in shaping the future of cybersecurity. They're driving innovation, they're attracting investment, and they're creating this more interconnected and collaborative, security ecosystem.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners here?
Right.
What should they be thinking about as they navigate this evolving cybersecurity landscape?
I think the key takeaway here is that we're in a period of, really rapid change and consolidation.
Right.
The traditional boundaries between security vendors are blurring.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the emergence of these large integrated platforms.
And Thoma Bravo is at the forefront of this trend. I mean, they're not just acquiring companies; they're building an empire.
And that empire will have a profound impact on how we approach cybersecurity in the future. It's essential to stay informed about these trends, to understand the implications of consolidation, and to be prepared to adapt to the new realities of the cybersecurity market.
It's a dynamic and challenging time to be in this industry.
It is.
But it's also incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
And resources like Cybersecurity HQ play, such a crucial role in helping us navigate this complex landscape.
Yeah, they're a fantastic resource. Their in-depth reports provide incredible insights for cybersecurity professionals.
Yeah.
And their newsletter is a must-read for anyone who wants to stay on top of the latest developments in the field. Over 70,000 people every week.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Not to mention their job board if you're looking to level up your career.
Right.
That's the place to be.
Yeah, they've built a really strong community around their platform.
Yeah.
Connecting professionals, fostering these discussions, promoting knowledge sharing. It's great.
And that community aspect is so valuable. Cybersecurity can feel like a lonely battle sometimes. It can, yeah.
But knowing there's this this network of experts out there all facing kind of similar challenges, sharing insights, it really makes a big difference.
Absolutely. And Cybersecurity HQ really excels at providing that unbiased, fact-based reporting.
Right.
They cut through the hype and they present a clear, balanced view of the issues, which is, more important now than ever, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to separate the signal from the noise these days.
It is.
Especially in a field that's evolving as rapidly as cybersecurity.
Right.
But they do a great job of, distilling complex topics into digestible insights.
So as we conclude this deep dive into Thoma Bravo's cybersecurity empire,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with kind of a thought-provoking question.
Okay.
Given their aggressive investment strategy and the sheer scale of their portfolio, how do you envision the cybersecurity landscape evolving over the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. I mean, we've seen how they're shaping the market today,
Right.
driving consolidation, fostering innovation, attracting investment.
Uh-huh.
But but what happens next? Will this consolidation ultimately lead to, a more secure digital world?
Yeah.
Or or will it create new vulnerabilities as that power becomes concentrated in the hands of a few?
It's a really complex issue with no easy answers.
Yeah.
On the one hand, having these, well-resourced companies at the forefront of cybersecurity
Right.
could accelerate the development and deployment of, much more advanced security solutions.
It's like having this concentrated force of cybersecurity expertise and resources,
Right.
all aimed at combating, this growing threat landscape.
But on the other hand, we have to consider the potential downsides as well.
Yeah.
Could this consolidation lead to a stifling of competition, a lack of diversity in approaches to security?
It's a trade-off that we need to, carefully consider.
We do.
A more homogeneous market might be more efficient in the short term, but it could also become more vulnerable to, you know, to systemic shocks or unforeseen challenges in the long run.
Exactly. And that's why it's so crucial to have these open discussions
Yeah.
about these issues, to weigh the potential benefits and risks of consolidation,
Right.
and to ensure that we're creating a cybersecurity ecosystem that is both robust and resilient.
And that's where communities like Cybersecurity HQ play such an important role, right?
They do, yeah.
They provide that platform for those discussions, for
Yeah.
sharing knowledge, for analyzing trends, for debating the best path forward for the industry.
And their commitment to unbiased reporting and in-depth analysis
Right.
really helps us all cut through the noise and make these informed decisions about the future of cybersecurity.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating exploring the world of Thoma Bravo and their impact on the cybersecurity industry.
Yeah, it has.
From their early days as Golder Thoma Co. to their current position as this private equity powerhouse. They've played a significant role in shaping the market and driving innovation.
And their story is still being written.
It is.
Their influence will continue to be felt for years to come. And it's essential for cybersecurity professionals to stay informed and engaged as the landscape continues to evolve.
Absolutely. We covered a lot of ground today, from their strategic acquisitions to their impact on market dynamics, from the potential benefits of consolidation to the risks that we need to be mindful of. It's a complex and fascinating story, and one that really highlights the critical role that private equity is playing in the world of cybersecurity.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I encourage you to, continue exploring these topics,
Yeah.
to engage with communities like Cybersecurity HQ,
Absolutely.
and to stay curious about the ever-changing world of cybersecurity. It's a challenging field, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And I'm confident that together we can build a more secure digital future.
Well said. It's been a pleasure diving deep with you all today. Until next time, stay safe, stay secure, and keep diving deep.